Welcome back to another episode of the Bad Taste Video Podcast, episode 272. Let's go, my man. Yeah. So we are back with a very special movie. I'm Mike, by the way, and I'm here with my...
It's like, who the fuck are we?
Yeah, I'm going to have to bust it out again. The Halloween homeboy, Mr. Grizz. What's
back
up,
in full
dude?
effect. It's October. We're ready to fucking do it. It's Halloween season, dude. I'm pumped. I think we started it out with a great fucking movie this week. Kind of a sleeper. I don't know if many people know about the Dark Carnival, and I'm not talking about ICP. I'm talking about a fucking 1993 low budget banger. Let's fucking hit the intro before we get into this one.
Dark Carnival. This is a movie that Grizz has spoken very highly to me about it for years now, saying that, no, you need a copy. Funny enough, this tape used to be like very expensive, and for whatever reason, it came down like immensely in price. And
Sleeper, dude.
It's a sleeper. So this is a York release, a York Maverick release. Not many, terribly good York movies out there. The Suckling is one.
And The Suckling is definitely number one.
That's probably number one.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta say, this might be number two, man. This movie is fucking... I had like a similar thing that you had with Scary Movie, with this movie. Very similar to Scary Movie, very similar to Haunted Ween also. It's like a cross somewhere in the middle of the two, right? Like,
yeah, but it's also its own fucking thing, dude. Like like we've seen a lot of like takes on like the haunted house movies where like it's not like the haunted house, but like an attraction haunted house that you'd go to and that whole thing. But I feel like this is a very interesting take on the whole thing, man. Like, this is
almost like the original Hell House LLC. This is like,
oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. This is very much, I think, like the incarnation of what that movie possibly was going to grow to be.
Yeah. Contrary to a lot of the poster art that you'll see or images or whatnot, there are no real. I mean, technically there is a clown.
I was going to say, hold on.
Technically, there is a clown involved, but not to the extent that they would make you think this isn't going to be like a fucking Ringling Brothers type clown shit. Dude, all right, first of all, Kiryu Gore, I got to stop for a second. Grizz is not a low-key juggalo. He's a straight-up juggalo, man.
Bro, I'm fucking loud and proud.
We support that shit fucking 100%, man. That's like the first thing I thought of when I saw this movie is fucking ICP. Like, whatever, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's just where if you were a kid in the 90s into like the early 2000s, like this was like, that was your shit, man.
Bro, Riddlebox is a fucking album that goes on the playlist at the gym once a fucking week. I'm fucking lifting the Riddlebox like a fucking man does because I'm a fucking ICP fan, baby.
I was gonna say I'm a fucking poser, dude. I was fucking listening to Great Malenko all the time. That was
it's a banger album. Don't get me wrong. The Malenko, I think, got a lot of people over to the dark side. But man, if you dig into that catalog, not so much the new stuff. I can't do that. But those early stuff, like Amazing Jekyll Brothers and shit,
the
dude,
first four
can't go wrong.
or whatnot, the first 4 or 5. are fucking solid.
Real
but
good.
This,
Real good.
This
Whoop,
movie, this movie's like a legit haunted house movie. There's an entity that controls the haunted house. Eventually you see it later on in the movie. It appears like it's just kind of like a slasher in the beginning, but that's not the case. It's a little bit more than that, a supernatural-esque slasher.
Yeah,
I was not expecting this at all. The way that it's filmed, the way that, the atmosphere of the movie, definitely was not what I was expecting. I don't know. I was so pleasantly surprised that I don't know. This is going to be a new like Halloween must watch for me now, I guess you could say.
And I mean, it's not like overly Halloween. It's not like a Halloween, they don't mention it directly in the movie or anything like that. It's a fucking haunted house attraction.
Well, it's for Halloween. Yeah, like they're setting up
it's a haunted
for
house
Halloween.
attraction.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what it's for. But like, man, you talked about like the way this is filmed. It's so interesting to me. Like, whatever, I couldn't figure out or I couldn't find information on like what actual camera was used or what kind of camera was used to film this.
This was shot on video, right?
Man, like I want to say like
it looks like Betacam or something. I don't know.
I was going to say Betacam. And it almost like the way, like just because of like the color texturing and everything of it, it feels like it could have been like a late 70s movie.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It has that like vibe to it for some reason.
Yeah. And the action, I guess you could say, very 80s. Very, very good. Much. Like it's pretty much from the get-go, just like Haunted Ween, you're seeing these attractions that are meant just to scare people, but eventually they become real. But from the beginning, you're seeing cool shit. You're seeing like quote unquote kills and all that stuff. Chris, why don't you give a little synopsis of this movie?
Well, we have a group of ragtag youngsters who are out to make a little quick cash by setting up a fucking, Halloween attraction. But little do they know that the attraction might actually have a life of itself.
Yes.
So to speak,
Yeah,
it's a great concept. I love the red herrings that are like kind of like built up in this movie, and it's got a very like fucking Scooby-Doo thing going on.
Yeah,
like I don't know if you got that vibe also.
For like 3/4 of the movie, it's very Scooby-Doo-esque, and we do have we'll get into that, but like there is a Scooby-Doo reveal at the end where it's like, oh, it's Mr. fucking so and so, which I find fucking hilarious.
Take the one scene, but there's a scene where like there's a girl with glasses like loses her glasses in the mayhem and like pulls the Thelma and is like, my glasses, I can't. Dude, I was like, God damn,
crawling on the floor,
really,
right?
really going for it with this one.
Yeah. So, like you said, this is like a group of kids. I guess they're maybe around college age, right? Would you say maybe like around there?
Yeah, for sure. I'd imagine college kids. That's what they look like.
And they're getting this new space that they rented. They're getting it ready for their Halloween haunt that apparently they do every year. So like another correlation to Hell House LLC, which I find really funny. They get a good deal on this for the square footage, I guess they're saying. And as they're setting up for this movie, for this haunted house, you start feeling like something is a little like up with everything. You got this weird dude that they brought in as like a clairvoyant. He's just like a homeless man off the street that used to work at the psych center.
Yeah, like doesn't he like have like rights to that property? Because like they gave him like the old man gave them permission to use the building as long as he could be in the show. Like that was like part of the deal. I thought like they explained later on in the movie that like he lived at that fucking like warehouse or whatever. And like he was the one that said, yeah, you could, because we'll talk about it at the end. But even at the end, like the very end scene, he's like,
something that I want to just like mention before we go pretty like deep into this. They keep mentioning something in this movie about like people that like horror movies, people that like horror shit. And like I love that in these movies because obviously the people who made this like are fans. So, like you'll see during like through the clips, like it's very fun. But I love when they do shit like that. Like Todd Sheets always adds that in. Book Walter will do that sort of shit, like that meta sort of
to the fans. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're self-aware. And this is like a horror comedy. It's not 100% serious. There's a lot of goofy shit in it. right? It's meant to make you laugh, almost like a frat-esque movie, like an 80s college horror film. It's
it like for the first like half of it, I would say yes, but then like it does take this shift.
Well, it becomes a serious like hide and seek game at the end when they're trying to escape the place.
Like a gross out film at points where they really pick it up a notch with like how gnarly some things are. Where I was like, I was not expecting things to go this far. So
yeah, it's actually kind of funny because like you don't really see like the kills per se. It's one of those things where they like cut away and then like you go back to it. But it's funny because when they go back to like the dead body or whatnot, it's like gruesome. It's fucked up looking.
Oh, it's great.
Like it's so
fucking fantastic.
It's so odd that they chose like to not just like add that like 5 seconds in per kill.
So what I love about this is that we're gonna start rolling these clips here. Why don't we start with the Satan Cafe clip?
Okay.
Then I'm going to talk about what I'm going to get into here with it.
All right. So just a little setup for this. This is basically like it's like opening night, I guess. Right? Like they're letting the first few people in and they're kind of working out the kinks. And this is one of the rooms. It is Satan, and it's not a cafe. It's him like forcing these people to do taxes.
Well, it's a big giant sign that says Satan's Cafe.
Oh, it does say it on there?
And he's making coffee
I thought that was just like, just
so I thought they were doing taxes too, but the dude's definitely a barista from hell for sure.
So let's roll this because it's like pretty fucked up looking when they show the accountants or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. It's fucking awesome music.
They're definitely like doing some kind of tax or something. He's like feeding them coffee.
Like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, because then you see he gets the pot of coffee here.
Yep, it goes into the tube, and then it goes directly into their brain, I guess, through their eye, because they all have tubes going through like their eyes, and it's like patched up. It's pretty fucking pretty gruesome, pretty cool.
The cool thing about this is, and as you'll see with some of these other things they have set up, it's actually a very elaborate sets. Like they're actually built out, they're fucking detailed. And the reason for that is that the people that made this movie actually ran a fucking Halloween attraction, and this is the attraction that they ran every year in California. So if you lived in like this area of California in the early 90s, you'd have gone to these fucking haunted houses all the time.
Yeah.
So you'd have then like possibly seen this movie. Like, I've walked through this room.
Anybody that listens to us in California, have you ever been to this fucking haunted house? Does it look familiar to you?
Cool. So and I'm just like, man, what a great way to like take advantage of the resources you have to be like, we have this elaborate set of all these spooky fucking things. Let's write a movie around that. So
well, yet again,
fucking awesome.
That's what they did with Hell House LLC. They found a haunted house, and that's the haunted house. So like they just filmed in it. The person that like owns it or created the haunted house is like credited as like the set designer and stuff.
There you go.
And it's like such an awesome setting for a horror movie. And it's so easy because like on a low budget movie, the biggest thing that like ruins it most of the time is the setting, right? Like I know you hate 555 because half the movie is set in like a fucking janitor's closet. When you have something like this, like an actual haunted house or anything in this nature, you're already starting at that like next level up. You got something already pushing you in the right direction, kind of leading you, guiding you, but this like took it and ran. I feel like they did such an awesome job like incorporating the different things from the haunted house into the plot. So if this was already all built ahead of time, like they did such a great job making this relevant to the script.
Yeah, 100%. I think a great example of that, let's play the doctor scene, because this is a scene that gives you a setup to something that's going to happen much later on. That's a fucking awesome thing. So like, this is just an idea of like how cool this fucking set was again.
So there's I guess that's a woman on the table, or is that a guy dressed as a woman? It is?
Oh, it might be that, yeah. Still
giving birth to some sort of worm creature Now, if this was a haunted house that I went through, I would
gnarly,
go
bro.
fucking nuts seeing this.
Look at it. It's
Blood
great.
shooting on the fucking ceiling and everything. This disgusting, slimy thing coming out. What an awesome, like, haunted house room, I guess, right?
Dude,
Is that what they call it? Like a room, like different rooms?
None of the ones I've ever been to take it that far. I would have loved to have seen some shit like that.
What was, like, the craziest haunted house thing you've ever, like, experienced?
Well, we do have like we have this place, there's a thing called Fright World here in Buffalo that actually got like voted like one of the best fucking like horror parks or whatever they call them. Like year after year they get voted like in the top 5. And they do a great job. Like they have some pretty gnarly scenes, and they do the whole fucking, big guy with the chainsaw that chases after you bullshit. But I mean, they never really they never push the boundaries of like what's, safe or not and shit like that. One of the coolest ones I went to they had was a fucking like a sane asylum where the motherfuckers had like a real elevator that like functioned in the fucking haunted house.
That's sick.
That was pretty dope. I like that.
That's sick. When I was younger, we used to go to, there was one, it was like outdoors in one of, I guess there was like a county park of some sort. It was like the Arboretum or whatnot. So it's like a mansion's grounds and everything. And they would dress it up for Halloween, but they would do like a legit haunted house. So this would have been like the early to mid 90s, I guess. So it was all outdoors. You could see into the mansion, but they had it all like, lit up and dressed up like a haunted house. It looked really cool, but
awesome.
There were parts of it that you were going outside and people were legitimately like coming out of the ground. Like,
so cool,
I guess
dude.
they were doing like the old burlap sack trick, but like as a kid seeing that, I was like, holy fuck, this is terrifying. Like, this is legit, like nightmare fuel. And
That's awesome.
I feel like that was like peak haunted house for me that I've never been able to recreate that. I have been to the Disney haunted time. That was pretty fun. Not scary.
I can only
Not
imagine.
scary. I love it.
Dude, Kairu Gore, the Headless Horseman attraction out by your place, man. I went to that as a kid. It's definitely famous as fuck.
What is that?
It's like a fucking haunted hayride with like a legit fucking like Headless Horseman and shit. Like, dude, it's a good time, man. The outdoor fucking like haunted hayride thing is cool.
I don't know if I've ever been on one before.
Have you ever seen that video that like came around like a year or so ago on social media of like a hayride that these kids are on, and like Jason comes out of the woods? It's Jason or Michael Myers, and he fucking face plants like into
the tractor or whatever, like
yeah,
into like the
he's
back
fucking
of it.
out cold.
I'm surprised he wasn't dead. I wish I could bring that. I'm not going to risk our setup right now, but I would bring that video up and play it.
I was going to say, I wish we had the ability right now just to pull it up so nobody could laugh at this fucking video. That's not the dude's misfortune.
My computer may explode. Yeah, my computer may explode if I do that. Back on the island, we had the Bayville Scream Park. That was like pretty cool in the beginning, but then it became one of those things where it was so expensive to go that people like would go once and that was it. Like you would never go again.
So it's only like $50 for a fucking like all the house pass and shit like that year for the one place. And I'm like, dude.
And like they definitely like it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it like every year they have less and less people working there and everything, and it's like it's not really worth it. Like I've been to a few where you go and there's like maybe 3 people in the fucking whole house. It's like fuck. So, like what a waste of time.
Have you seen the ones where like you gotta like sign like a fucking liability clause and shit like that?
Oh yeah, where they beat the fuck out of you and stuff. It's like, I don't need that shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing that for?
It's like, fucking wild, bro.
I've taken enough punches in my life. I don't need to fucking pay somebody to do it.
Fucking hog tying your ass.
Oh, Kiryu Gore.
$75. Oh
wow.
My god.
Haunted hayride plus 10 haunted house attractions. It's a great time the first few times you go, but the setup is the same every year. They want $75. $75 for a hayride and 10 attractions, that's not too bad.
Man, like, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what family's gonna pay $75 a
who
fucking
has
pop?
that? You got even.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta like only like choose one kid and one parent. Like, all right, this year it's Tommy and Timmy going. Like, that's it.
Fucking brutal, man. Like, $75, you should take a fucking family of 10 to fucking haunted attraction, man.
Yeah, shit, man. I would rather have one like big good one big attraction and pay more than like have like the couple small ones, and you got to buy the package, and either way you're spending $45 even to go. Like,
So do you remember as a kid, man, when you'd go out trick-or-treating or like just around Halloween time, where there's always that like one dude on the block that would like build a fucking haunted house like in his front yard?
We had
or
that.
like
Yeah,
dude,
we had that.
there was a couple dudes in different towns that we would go to.
It would
that
be
just
like we had a thing. It was
awesome.
like one block and like maybe like 4 or 5 houses in a row across the
yeah.
front, and they would do it like they would close the street off like a block party. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like it was like cool. They would have people running around the street and shit. It was like going to Six Flags, but in like white trash fucking New York. It's a good time.
That's awesome. That's legitimately fucking awesome. Like that's what Halloween's all about, dude. Like
it's not the same. I'm gonna sound like the old, like now I'm like the old guy fucking yelling at
Doesn't
clouds.
feel the same.
But like, you barely see like Halloween commercials anymore. Like I maybe
every company back in the day was fucking rocking Halloween commercials.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm starting to see Halloween decorations up in my neighborhood. A lot of people actually do decorate, which is pretty cool. A lot of trick or treaters and shit. Far more than where I was living, which is kind of crazy. I was expecting the opposite. Yeah, but they fucking love candy here, I guess. But I don't know.
You live
man.
in like a pretty suburban neighborhood, though. I could see where there's probably a ton of fucking kids.
Well,
like,
my thing is
around.
that like it's very rural everywhere else except.
So they all bring their fucking kids to your neighborhood.
Yeah, to like the 1 square mile of houses.
You
know
guys
what
are
I mean?
supplying the entire fucking township of fucking.
Yeah, fucking hey, whatever, man. If you're gonna go out there with a fucking costume, I'll keep giving it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
That's
like
one
that.
thing I do
like
not
that.
mind, dude. There's something about seeing like all the fucking people on the block still, like walking up and down. Like when I was in New York, it wasn't like that anymore. Like there was hardly anybody out. You didn't see you get like 1 or 2 like groups of like very small kids. Around here though, like. Shit, man, it's like how it used to be, like where there's tons of fucking people walking up and down, like all different ages and shit. I like it. It's cool. Bringing it back. Bring it back.
That's a benefit of that area.
Yeah. So, Dark Carnival. One of the guys that I really like. We touched on him before. The homeless dude that like used to work at the psych center or whatever. And he's kind of just like, like whatever. Yeah. But he does card readings, like tarot card readings, and he does like it's like kind of funny but kind of not, because it's like he's like real. He's like the real deal, right?
Oh yeah, he's
legit
guessing
psychic.
shit right on.
He's legit psychic. But like I found this pretty funny. I told Grizz to grab this for a specific reason, but he's pulling the cards.
Discs. A young man, slow to anger but when aroused.
He's wearing a bag on his head.
This is the nature of your situation.
He's reading the girls' cards.
9 of Swords. Cruelty. Heartless passion. Life is filled with emptiness and hatred.
They're just laughing at him and
Nine
shit.
of Swords.
He's basically calling this guy a douchebag.
Defeat.
Yeah, like, oh, this guy's gonna ruin your life.
Beating you down.
Wow.
Beating you down. Yeah, like dude, this dude's brutal. Just fucking telling that girl that like, hey, this dude here was a fucking tool.
Yeah. But like, it's like kind of funny because he was wearing a paper bag on his head as like as a hat. I don't know, kind of strange. But you could hear the score during that clip, and it like adds a real like ambiance
Creepy.
to the fucking to the scene. The way it's lit too. He's got that like yellow goldish hue to him. Like it looks like a dirty old haunted house from like the 80s.
Oh, dude.
You know,
We're missing a key element here for a second.
the dude holding the basketball.
Besides that guy. So like before they actually have these fucking kids come in the house to check this place out for the first time, who shows up? The goddamn inspector.
Oh my
from
god.
the city.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And he's
Ball
a fucking
buster.
piece of work.
Yeah.
And he's asking for every document. You could tell right away he's totally fucking against this haunted house. He's pissed off that these kids are even doing it. So he's already giving me a vibe, right? I'm like, what the fuck's up with this fucking
This guy's
guy?
a dick, yeah,
But
for no reason.
But he's in and out pretty quick, so I don't think anything of it right away until some fucking, some mayhem starts happening. And then I'm like, what happened to that motherfucking inspector dude,
It was funny because he's like walking through the thing. He's like, is this fireproof? And they're like, yeah, we fireproofed it. He's like, then it should last for the 12-minute burn. Guy pulls out a fucking blowtorch and just tries to light the wall on fire. It's like burns the hand. They have like a handprint, like a demon hand painted on the wall. And he basically he burns it out. It's like, dude, you're a fucking nut job. So you could see why like there's a little suspicion on this motherfucker throughout the movie.
What I like that kind of takes place too is that these kids are going through this fucking thing and the rooms are gnarly and shit. And the one kid's being a fucking prick. It just kind of escalates to where like the people running this house start like really fucking with these people, like kind of torturing them and shit in different ways.
It starts getting real. The house starts actually influencing the people inside of it.
So they notice. They're like, yo, what the fuck? We got to close this haunted house down. Like there ain't no, and like, you know, only the one dude is like, no, fuck this. This is money and shit. But like everybody else is like, dude, something happened tonight that's not good.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I felt
we went
wrong.
too far. Yeah.
Because like one girl is like her like station is like cutting this dude's fucking junk off, and there's a rubber knife that they're using, and then when the house starts influencing her, she like gets a real knife and like puts it above her head and starts like gripping it hard with her hands, and it starts like making her hand bleed. And eventually she snaps out of it. They all snap out of it. Like
it's great.
Yeah, before anything bad could happen in that first go around. But it's like pretty interesting to see, like this is the first time that you can tell it's like not just a regular slasher or like whodunit. There's like a supernatural element to it also.
But you know, we soon to fucking find our first dead body, and it's the dude that wanted to keep the house open. You know, he was all for it, and he was the last one there. He was gonna go lock up and shit, and he goes off on his own. But then they can't find him until they find this dude's head in a peculiar place, man. And I was like, all right, now this movie's about to take off.
That's like there's a head, a gruesome looking severed head, like a real Fulci looking severed head in the basket. And this is when everybody kind of realizes like something's wrong here. The one girl has those like fucking Roy Orbison glasses on though.
She's the one that loses them too.
Yeah. How the fuck can she see inside with those? At first, I thought maybe she was like actually blind, but she's just cool. Yeah, she's just fucking. She's just cool, bro. But it's funny because once you get this first dead body, you kind of like figure out who the killer is like pretty quickly, right?
Well, we kind of figure out who this particular killer is, who killed this guy. But I don't think that really kind of solves the mystery of this fucking movie.
Not the full mystery, no. But this is where we have like the Scooby-Doo reveal, right? Yeah, so you have a killer. He's going around in like a clown costume. It's like a big Jack-in-the-Box looking head, if you've ever seen that like logo. But eventually he gets outsmarted by our cast of college, I don't know, what do you want to call them? College friends, I guess.
Castaways.
Yeah, so he's basically gonna burn this fucking homeless dude's face off with the torch.
You should have listened to your cards. Georgie Porgy.
Georgie? He's got a fucking like crack torch. He gets smacked in the head with a hammer, somehow not killed. The reveal. Yeah, he's got his eyes closed.
Goddamn inspector.
It's the inspector. He tried bureaucracy. When that didn't work, he went the killer route. It's so funny. He tried to get him on paperwork to stop this thing from happening because he knows that the house is alive. It has,
which I thought was an interesting thing, that the reveal that this dude is like, yeah, he's a fucking inspector, but he was a part of a haunted house that went haywire before.
Yeah.
And like that whole build up, I was like, oh, this dude must be onto something, you know?
Yeah. And actually we find out that the way he escaped was he had to sacrifice his hand. They don't really explain why, right? They don't.
They don't explain it. He's just, he has this like black mallet hand that like he just used to knock people out, basically, as you just saw.
Yeah. Now the funny thing is, I didn't really realize that it was like a Chubbs from Happy Gilmore hand until
Totally is,
until this fucking scene where they have to keep him somewhere, so they just hammer the hand to the wall.
Oh, what a great idea.
He's got I guess it's like a Dr. Claw fist.
Where's the keys?
You're not gonna leave me here, are you?
So they're gonna leave him there and go call the police, try to get help or whatnot.
Wait, Georgie! Don't leave me here!
Georgie, no.
Yeah, this is like not really a good idea when you know that the house is kind of alive. Maybe don't leave the guy in the room
Because that's what
filled
this
with
guy
saw
basically
blades.
told him. He
Yeah.
said, look, the house isn't going to let you leave. Like, the house is alive and the house wants you dead, basically, you know?
Yep.
So what basically happens from this point is we see that, like, all of these attractions start coming alive and, like, finding different ways to try to kill each and every one of these people. And I think that is a great fucking concept, man.
Yeah.
To have it just opens up a variety of unique scenes where you have all these different, you know, contraptions and different attractions that will just lend themselves to these like unique opportunities to kill people. It makes the second half of this movie this like really fun, almost like carnival type atmosphere where it's like a carnival of death. It's appropriately named Dark Carnival from like this point out.
So now you see the house is alive, and it really starts showing it. This guy is rightfully scared to be left alone in this room, and we see why when they come back in the room, and he looks like something out of Hellraiser. This is what I'm talking about, where they like have him get killed by this room of saws. Yes, like giant circular saw blades.
That's where they nailed him to, unfortunately.
It's like a Wasp fucking music video.
It does. Yeah, Blackie's back there.
Yeah. But they see, like, look at this corpse.
Looks great.
It's gruesome, man. So, like, they don't show the kill happen, but, like, the aftermath looks like something out of Hellraiser, if not worse. They're all pretty
That's
calm,
cool.
too. They're all pretty calm after seeing, like, a legitimate, like...
Like, it's also like the
mutilated
realization
body.
that none of us killed that guy, and he's the only person left in here. Therefore, what he just said about the house, because they were kind of like in disbelief.
Yeah.
Bullshit. The house is trying to kill us. You're fucking crazy. As soon as they leave, they hear the fucking dude screaming, and they go back and they find this mangled corpse. So now it's kind of like that moment of like, well, he had to have been fucking telling the truth because none of us did this to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that moment of realization that they're fucked.
Yeah, there's a really cool scene where they're running through the haunted house, and the thing starts. You see it like physically can alter the house. They get trapped in this hallway. It's like a padded room, and it's a fun sequence. It's almost like Nightmare on Elm Street esque. The way that they do it. So they're walking through this padded room, and of course the doors close. And the walls start shaking.
But I love it, dude.
Yeah, the walls start shaking violently. She falls to the floor and gets pulled upside down. You can tell she's like on a rope being held by something.
I love it, though. It looks great.
Yeah. Lots of cool like camera tricks where they're getting forced to the ceiling. Really, they're upside down, like kind of.
It looks like there's just like people with mattresses on each side of them shaking them. Like as the fucking film it.
It's fun. It's such a fun movie. This is probably one of the only scenes though where like they take it to this level, right? Where they do like something really out there with the camera work. Everything else is what?
I think the ending is the camera work.
Yeah. Okay. Wait.
Those two scenes are like the highlight.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the doctor scene when that eventually comes alive because of two things. This woman's reaction to this fucking creature coming at her and the creature itself. Grizz, I believe you had this clip labeled as Slimy Dick. What was it? Slimy Dick Drill.
Dick Drill. Yeah. That's what this is, dude.
Interesting. This thing looks absolutely disgusting. A slimy, proboscis looking thing slinging goo.
We love the goo.
Slinging goo. Yeah, this thing looks like a straight out of a Cronenberg movie.
Look at the drill bits coming out of this motherfucker.
But the funny thing is, she's just kind of standing there, making zero
I know.
attempt at leaving. Oh, one of her.
This is the best part. Her reaction right here.
Oh, yeah,
She
yeah.
fucking goes down, dude. That's my favorite part.
She's
of that
lost it because one of her the lenses of her glasses has fallen out. So
great.
she's absolutely lost it. She starts stabbing the creature after the homeless psychic pushes
Knocks
over
the table over.
the table. What a fucking
But
sequence!
then she like does just like minces that fucking thing
Hey,
up,
man.
dude, and she ends up like laying on it, and she's just covered in the goo. It's
terrifying.
It's great scene, dude. One of the best in the movie.
Yeah, this thing is. I'm a little disappointed they didn't go like a little further with that.
Yeah,
I thought they
agree.
were gonna
I wanted
do
to
some-
fucking tear some guts up.
It's not a Japanese movie, so we weren't going to see that. You take what you can get.
That's right.
But we're going to get to the end of the movie now. And this is where we get a really fun scene of something like I just said, somebody coming out of a grave. Almost Evil Dead-like, the way
So-
that he is shown.
Dude, this might be my new favorite coming out of the grave scene of all time.
Really?
It is so fucking just like trippy and like just it feels evil, like the way he's like moving as he flies out of this fucking thing, man. I don't know. You guys check this out. This just to me is like so fucking awesome.
You get that evil smoke. The lighting is cool. He looks fucking weird as hell.
He's holding his head, his severed head flying around like that. Like
And his legs are like flailing like a deadite in Evil Dead.
yeah, this is awesome.
They definitely like use this in the haunted house. This looks like a sick haunted house fucking thing.
Oh yeah, dude.
He like puts his head back on his body and it looks all fucking weird.
Going to leave me all alone. Were you sad?
Dude, that's scary as fuck. That's like
So
some scary
awesome.
shit, man. Imagine seeing that in a haunted house, like one of your buddies, like me up there, with my
Flying
head
out of the
fucking-
fucking ground like that, holding your head.
man.
It looks amazing.
What a fucking movie. What a fucking movie.
I mean, there's definitely like more like, what was it? The Mexican, was it Grave Robbers?
Yeah.
Like that has some epic fucking, coming out of the grave scenes and stuff like that. But there's just something about this one that just feels
Has
just
that
like
look. Yeah.
evil as fuck, dude. I don't know. I loved it.
It's the darkness. It's like the setting itself. It has that like same thing where I always say like seeing things like Silent Night, Deadly Night, like the cover art of that, where it's like the set that they made and took a picture of.
Yeah.
I had like some weird dreams about that shit as a kid and it like stuck with me. And like, I feel like I get that same thing seeing that scene. I know exactly what you're
sound.
fucking saying. Everything.
The sound of that scene too, like the howling wind and everything. It's such a good package, man. They did a great job putting it together.
And then we come to the end. Pretty interesting. Chris, why don't you explain this last clip that we have?
So this old dude we've been talking about the whole time, who potentially lived in this building, he figured out that these tarot cards that he's been playing with the whole time are real, and he has to believe in them, and that's the key. They'll give protection to these people from the house, because the tarot room was completely fine because of the cards, So his plan is they face this end zombie guy, and he's gonna jump in the grave and fucking shove this tarot
Smother it,
card
Yeah.
into this fucking grave or whatever. But like the chick is like, you don't got to do this, old man. And he's, he kind of says like, I'm responsible for this because I said yes.
I brought
to you
everybody
guys. I brought the evil here. Or
here. He said, I
whatever,
brought
you
the
know?
horror.
Yeah, I brought the horror, which is a great fucking line.
Almost Lovecraftian.
This is a great ending.
Yeah. It's funny though, like they should have gotten a little bit more of like a stronger wind machine for this. Because they're
agree.
supposed to
It
be
looked
like
better.
competing against the wind, like crawling over to this like chasm
I did
in the
find that
ground.
funny.
Yeah. I like that
He
you
gets
see
in the
his,
grave.
Yeah, I like
shoves
that you
it in
see
there.
his legs. Like, ooh, he just gets pulled out of the fucking scene.
And then this is great. Lands with his fucking head next to him.
That's it. That's it. Evil has been defeated. They don't really leave it open, right? Like they legit finish the fucking story. Now, there's one thing I would like to know. They don't explain it in the movie. They don't explain anything. how did this come about? How did this
Yeah, like what's
become...
the origin of the evil of the house?
Yeah,
Is it just like all haunted houses have this, inherently in them?
There was
or?
like a heart, a quote unquote heart, like something they were able to see in that hole. But I don't know. I really want to know, like, how did this become this evil, possessed, haunted attraction?
Because if it happened before with the inspector guy, then it's like something that's repeating itself. It's not like that one location was fucking, or maybe it's the same location. They don't explain it, but that is something. The origin of the evil of the house would have been just a quick fucking, hey, this is what's going on, so that we have that.
Yeah. Overall, though, the story of this movie is fucking awesome. They
Easy to follow.
explain everything else. Easy to follow, like you said. It's a cool supernatural slasher that takes like an odd turn at the end. The only problem is it's very hard to find unless you have the tape. I don't know if there's a DVD or not of this.
Machiavelli on here says that there's one on eBay, a tape of it for $60. That's about what I felt like they were.
I think I
maybe
paid
a little bit more.
I think I paid 20 or 25 for mine.
I was gonna say that's about more what I would be willing to throw at it at this point in time. $60 is what they used to kind of go for. I don't feel like they hold that value at this point. But there is a DVD of this movie, so I'm sure that goes for much cheaper. But I can't really say that because now fucking DVDs
are pretty expensive.
Gone through the fucking roof, dude. So who knows?
We could check the Patreon.
That's a good place to potentially look.
So Grizz, this is like up there, man. This might be a Bad Taste Hall of Famer for me.
Yeah, I feel like it fits that same, like we put Scary Movie in the Hall of Fame. Like this one kind of is like a sister movie in a way to that. It's a great double feature. You put these two movies together, you're having an awesome, haunted house Halloween night.
You could watch this, Haunted Ween, Scary Movie, and have 3 fucking awesome Halloween haunted house movies that
You're still not tired. Watch Ghoulies 3. There's always the fucking.
There's always Ghoulies 3. Actually, well, Ghoulies 2. Well, Ghoulies 1. I guess would be, it's not a Halloween movie, but I guess it kind of is more of a Halloween movie than 2 because 2 is like at a carnival during the summer.
Isn't 3 the one with the fucking haunted house, right? Like
that's in college.
In college? Oh, well, there we go. Whatever. Watch them all.
Part 2 is the haunted house one, but it's a carnival.
Okay, so
it's like a carnival attraction. It's like the traveling.
Feels like a haunted house.
Yeah. But Dark Carnival from 1993, an absolutely awesome movie. Highly recommended. See it however you can. Definitely worth it. Grizz, it's time to head over to the wide world of metal. We are covering probably one of our favorite bands that we have listened to before. Grizz, absolutely. What do we have this week?
We are covering the new Acid Mass album, Agonizer. If you have listened to us before in the past, we covered the Lust for Violence release that Agonizer did, or that Acid Mass did a while ago, and I was completely blown away with that. Mike, I know you felt the same way when I showed
fucking
it to you.
Awesome.
That you were like, dude,
Unreal.
This is fucking it, man. And then we learned that it's a one-man band, which has been kind of an ongoing thing that we've been coming across lately. It just seems like the wave of the future when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
But to think about that and to think about all that went into this album, the dude's doing the drumming programming, he's doing the guitar playing, the bass playing, he's doing the vocals, and none of it is lacking in any fucking direction, man. It's all just pristine. This shit reminds me, like this specific album, this Agonizer album, it kind of reminded me of like old like Demolition Hammer type fucking metal from like the early 90s. I know Ben said that, he takes a lot of, inspiration from bands like Sodom and stuff like that. And you could fucking hear that.
Yeah.
All day in this music, man.
For sure. There's a lot of like really awesome, like early Slayer type riffs that, at least that's what it sounds like to me, because I'm a fucking fan of that shit too. But like, there's a lot of stuff that sounds from that time period. Yeah. You know what I mean?
All those bands, dude. It sounds very much like of that time. It's good in that way.
But it's awesome. And just like the last album that we listened to, the production is awesome. I'm a huge fan of the solo tone that he uses.
It's like piercing at times, but like in like a great way. For like the way the production of this album works.
It reminds me of like the solos like in Death songs and the later Death songs, like how they cut through and like with the chorus effect and all that shit. Like it fucking, and this dude fucking rips. Like he is a far better guitar player than I am.
And like when you listen to like, you know, you can listen to a lot of thrash stuff or a lot of crossover stuff, and a lot of the times you'll hear very similar, you know, riffs that get kind of repetitive. When I listened to this, I just couldn't believe like the complexity of some of the riffs where they're thrash riffs, but I'm like, dude, these are rethought. This is like a different way of thinking about how to write thrash music, because it's not, I don't mean to say like boring, but if you listen to a lot of thrash, some things just get a little stale. They get a little bit boring.
It's not like Power Trip. Like it's not like that sort of thing.
Nothing against Power Trip, but it's been like it's a rehashed sound, you know, just for today's time. You know,
I always thought like modern thrash. Well, like a lot of people, it almost sounds like hardcore, or like crossover, or like
because the crossover kind of took over. I feel like the thrash scene in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like where you have that influence and stuff. But this is more on like the death metal, you know, Sodom type, like speed metal fucking shit. Like I don't know, it's such a variety of shit in this. Like it's all the stuff that we listen to put into one album, and I think that's why we like it so much. You know,
it's gritty as fuck too, which I appreciate, because Lust for Violence had this like street feel where it was like kind of this like fucking it's polished, but it's not like overly fucking polished. Like it feels like an underground fucking metal album still. Yeah, and I mean that as a compliment. Like that's a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's play Torture Rack first.
This fucking solo, bro. I had to pull this shit. This is my favorite solo of the album.
You're gonna hear what we're talking about right now.
That fucking album cover too. Just starts ripping here. I love that, dude. I love that shit right there. This just feels so authentic. You know what I'm saying?
And he's got an awesome voice too.
That's the thing. Like that's what I was saying. Like there's no part of the album that lacks. Like, oh, you know, he's a one-man band. He's not great at this aspect of it, but everything else is great.
No, he's great at everything.
It's fucking front to back, killing it.
Yeah.
And a great example of like the really unique style of like riff writing. I had to pull the Sacrament of Filth riff. Just because it's got this crazy like fucking like frill part in the middle of it, dude, and I couldn't get enough of the way this sounds. Oh, that's awesome! Like, dude, it's like what the fuck, bro?
What an awesome riff!
First time I heard this one, that's it.
So good.
Great song band. You know, it's not overthought, but it's complex still. It's fucking old school thrash, but like really in this like just kick you in the fucking teeth package, man. Like it's not as like, you know, like I don't know how to, like some of like the older thrash stuff can get a little bit soft, I guess you could say, where it's like this is just gritty as fuck, man. Like this is as metal as it comes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. And there's also a song called Shadow Moses, which is a thing from Metal Gear Solid.
You fucking nerds.
Yeah. It's a fucking like island in Alaska.
That's great.
I'm just shaking my head.
I would have no idea.
People at home, I'm shaking my head right now because why do I fucking know this stuff?
Why do I know these things?
But this album is fucking awesome. It's available everywhere. He's got a Bandcamp. It's on, I'm guessing, Apple Music. It's on Spotify, right?
Absolutely. Go out, support. I mean, you're not gonna be able to get. He just did a pre-order shirt drop. I had to get one of those bad boys. The fucking shirts are dope as fuck. So I don't know if he's gonna have another shirt drop coming up soon, but if he does, you know, make sure you get behind this dude. And speaking of which, please stick around after this show is over. Immediately when we're done, to our YouTube page, we're going to be posting an interview with Ben Ricketts, the one-man band behind fucking Acid Mass. He sat down with me for about 15 minutes. Talked about a lot of different aspects of the music, his history, where he's at right now, and things to come, man. If you like this album, please stick around and check that fucking interview out because he's an awesome dude.
Yeah, we're going to be posting that right up to the YouTube page. Speaking of which, every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@badtastevideo podcast. And next week to continue in our Halloween, I don't even know what the hell we're going to call it, festivities, extravaganza. We kind of do it every year, I guess. We will be doing the semi-lost but then found and finished and released anthology film, technically I guess from 1989, but not released I think till 2010 I believe, and that's The Basement. Grizz has never seen this before. I have the big camp video, like the big box thing that they put out. I'm stoked to do this. I love anthologies.
I'm guilty of overlooking it because I thought it was like a 2010 movie.
No. It's one of those ones where they like never finished it or whatnot, or it was never edited or something like that. And they eventually put it together and they came out with a great anthology that does have a Halloween story in it. So I felt that it fits, but it's cool because we're sticking with our low budget fucking Halloween plan here. We have some other things planned for our, final, I guess, Halloween movie. I would like to pull out the old German card on that one.
Yeah, we're gonna go hard at the end of this month, boy.
Maybe get the YouTube suspended. Who the fuck knows on that one?
We'll see with that one.
But next week we will be doing The Basement. I'm not sure where it's available online right now. It's got to be somewhere. I'm pretty sure you could still buy it. But Grizz, where could they find you on the internet?
You could find me, as always, on Instagram at Kane_enabler.
And you could find me at Bad Taste Video, and you can find everything we do at www.badtastevideo.com, where we have everything linked there. Please like and subscribe to our Facebook page or whatever the fuck you got to do. Spread the word because we want to try to get some more fucked up shit on here to hopefully destroy this channel too. If you have any movies that you want us to cover that you've seen and it affected you in some sort of way, positive or negative, and you would like us to see it or cover it, we're always down for some suggestions, especially if it's like foreign shit.
Please do the foreign stuff because it's like we are kind of running. It's going to come to a point where we don't have any more 90s low budget horror movies that we're going to be able to cover. So we're going to need some new suggestions, and we might have to delve into some different eras of horror.
I've been starting to hoard a lot of foreign things for us to cover on here. I'm getting some DVDs actually because there are no tapes available. But you know what, man, we're going to have some real fucking fun coming up. People are going to be fucking amazed by some of the shit that they're going to see on here. Seriously, it's going to be a lot of I'm not going to say like mean-spirited stuff, but it's going to be,
intense.
It's gonna be gory, man. We're gonna go back to the splatter shit. Yeah. So I think that's it for now, right, Grizz? Anything else?
Not if you're listening to this, through the audio on Spotify or on Apple or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. You can always come back and check out our YouTube page because all of these live shows are still posted up to watch. So if you want to see what these clips look like, if you're interested. Just pop on over. You can check out the clips right there. They'll always be up for you to look at. Definitely don't forget about the live section on the YouTube page.
You don't have to wait till Thursday to listen to it. Also, you could come Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time on our YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody for coming. Next week, like I said, The Basement. Can't wait. Thank you everybody for coming in the chat. We will see you next time.